Welcome to Notable Approvals. My name is Amanda Shaffer. I'm an attorney at the Shapiro law firm. Before I talk about our case today, I just want to give a quick reminder to tune in tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where myself and my co-host, attorney Aaron Shapiro, will be having a live question and answer discussion on cancellation of removal. We will be answering your questions live, and you can also email me at the email address scrolling along the bottom of your screen. So today on Notable Approvals, in anticipation of the cancellation of removal Q&A, we're going to go over another cancellation of removal case. If you tuned in yesterday to Notable Approvals, I talked about a case involving a timely retraction to a false claim to U.S. citizenship. Today's cancellation of removal case is notable for a different reason. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We feel that every cancellation of removal case that we win is notable. And that's because cancellation cases, as I'll discuss tomorrow night, are very complex. They take a lot of work and they take a long time. And I'm not even talking about the time that your client has to have been in the US. I'm also talking about the time to get your final hearing and then the time to finally get your decision. So there are always exciting cases to win. In this particular case, we won it extra fast. We were granted an expedited hearing. And that was because of how severe my client's son's disability is. So my client is from Indonesia. She came to the US in 2001 with a B2 visitor visa and never left. She has as I said, a US citizen's son, and he suffers from many different disabilities, including cerebral palsy, microcephaly, which is the head, I think, is too small, severe autism, epilepsies, and seizures, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So besides that, she easily met all of the other cancellation of removal requirements. But in order to get an expedited hearing, you have to prove really some type of urgent need, an urgent humanitarian concern. So I'll never forget this case, because before I went to court that day, I had to stop at the office, get a hand truck, put one of those big banker boxes on it, and fill it with 3 stacks of paper that was like this high. It was the most I've ever submitted in a single filing for a client. And the reason it was so much is because there were so many medical records. More is not always better. You don't want to just throw in papers to throw in papers. But in this situation, we needed all those papers. So we walked into the master hearing. I also had to give a written request to have the hearing expedited. It was granted. So instead of waiting 2 to 3 years like everyone else that day for their final hearing, we only had to wait a few months. And we go back to court a few months later for the individual hearing. And that was the shortest trial I have ever had. Before we begin, you always conference with the government attorney and tell the judge if you were able to narrow. One second, we're live, so we got some. I'll let Aaron pick that one up. So you conference to narrow the issues down, and then you tell the judge. And both the government attorney and the judge only wanted me to ask my client one question, and that question was, have you ever committed a crime? My client hadn't. She said no under oath, and we were done. All under about 5 minutes. We won that case before we even stepped in the door because of how well we did our filing. Now, like all cancellation of removal cases, they're a little bittersweet at the end of the hearing, because even if you know the case is going to get granted, the judge can't actually grant it until the visa number is available. And there's only 4,000 a year, so there's a backlog of a few years. So I knew we were going to win because the judge will deny it right away if they're not going to grant it. They're not going to hold your case open for 2-3 years otherwise. And my client trusts and believes me, but of course, until it's official, you're still like on edge. So finally, a couple of years later, I believe it was March of this year, we got the orders saying that my client's cancellation case was granted. The government waived appeal, and she now has a green card. And we're very excited for her and her son that she no longer has to worry about being able to stay in this country to take care of him and support him. Before I go, one last reminder, tomorrow night, 9 p.m., live on YouTube this time and Facebook, myself, Amanda Shapiro, my co-host, we will be discussing cancellation removal and answering your questions live. We hope to see you all there. And if you need to contact me, give us a call, send an email. I'm here for you. Have a great day.